Welcome. My name's Stephanie Dawn. I'm the chair of the Million Mom Movement, and I'm so excited to be here with you today for Fierce Friday. Every Friday, we meet at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard to come together in community, to share our hearts, to share our passions about what is going on in the world in regards to the compromisation of our food systems in the United States and beyond. What happens in the United States matters because it goes out globally. And so we're the ones we've been waiting for. That's what we've been saying here for months. It's not up to the government. It's not up to corporations. We moms and dads that care about what's going on with our food and in our own kitchens and pantries, we're the ones that we've been waiting for. And we're the ones that are here to speak truth to power and to take action. I'm joined here by my fellow council members, Jodi Parker, Taz Ferreira, Jodi's in Colorado, Taz is in Canada, and I'm looking to see if there's anyone else here. I think that's all we have right now, which is awesome, but there are 6 of us total, including—
Hi, Stephanie.
Oh, Naiva in Kauai. I'm so glad you're here, Naiva.
Stephanie, I'm here too.
Great.
It's Camilla.
Here too. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, ladies. Thanks for being here. So we've got a few announcements. We're going to be just sharing a couple things with you, and then we're going to do a deep dive with Jodi Parker, who's a council member in Colorado that I just mentioned. Fierce mom on a mission, has mitigated so much in her own family around health and nutrition, and she has some really wonderful information to share with you. So this is going to be an hour packed with value. I'm so glad you're here. All right. First, what I'd like to talk about is the petition. So for the past 6 months, we had a letter writing campaign to General Mills that is selling us toxic Cheerios and Honey Nut Cheerios, which is the most popular brand in the United States, I might add, that young and old alike are eating every day. And it's the young that I'm really concerned about because my own son, Zephyr, had a severely compromised gut for the first 8 years of his life. So we've pivoted away from that letter writing campaign, and we now have a petition, and I'd love to invite Naiva to come on and speak about that.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for having me on here. And yeah, it's been a really great campaign to get a part of and just share our passion around trying to educate more moms of what's in our food and what's in the food that we're feeding our children. And so we realized that letter writing isn't for everyone, and it's time consuming. And as moms, we don't always have a whole lot of time on our hands to write an email and send it in, and it just ends up being another thing on our list. So we decided to switch over to doing a petition, which makes it super easy. I just post it in the comments, and you can just go ahead and click on that. You can sign the petition and then share it with your community. It's another way that you can promote our Million Mom movement as a community, as a movement, through sharing what our mission is of educating more moms about the quality of our food, as well as having them get on board with asking General Mills to remove glyphosate ingredients. So basically ingredients within their products have glyphosate in it. So what we're asking them to do is to remove those ingredients and start using organic ingredients that are sourced in a way that hasn't been contaminated by glyphosate. So I'm super passionate about this subject and super proud of our movement for putting this forward. And I'm so excited for all of you to participate in it and help share it out there in your communities. And so, as we say, we are all a part of the Million Mom movement. So I'm so glad that you all are here and that you're a part of the movement. So please share this far and wide and invite more people to come each Friday. We come here, same time, same place. And, you know, once you share the petition with them, invite them to come here and join us and learn more about what we're doing. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Naiva. Awesome. Okay, something else that I'm really excited that the Million Mom movement just launched is a prenatal and breastfeeding friendly group health reset for women. So, you know, my whole background has been about helping moms and families thrive for like the past 2 decades, body, mind, spirit. And so I'm joined by Naiva Flory and another mom here, Colette Doherty, who we're hosting this event. And so I wanted to invite you all, if you know a mom who's breastfeeding or pregnant, to join the it's called Sacred Superfoods for Fertility, Birth, and Beyond group. And then I wanted to, that's on Facebook. And then I wanted to invite Colette to come on and just share a little bit about what we're doing here. I know she's got a few minutes, maybe 1 minute to share. Colette, are you there? Just need to unmute. Oh, you know what? I need to unmute you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, go for it.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Stephanie. It's such a pleasure to be here with all of you amazing moms with the Million Mom Movement. And yeah, so I'm so excited to be co-hosting this breastfeeding and pregnancy health reset starting on August 10th. It's been something that's how my whole journey started, and I find it super, super deep, and this connection that we have, you know, with the growing babies and these superfoods. And I think it's so important that we educate and share this knowledge with other moms out there. And so in these 30 days, we're encouraging moms to deeply nourish their bodies with the ultimate lifestyle transformation, taking out the super cleanser. So it's still super simple. And of course, they're deeply nourishing. So they're eating throughout this. We have approved flex snacks and meals, and we can share, you know, recipes and stuff like that. And then, you know, there's always the option to just do the core 4 along with it. There's so many options, you know, we just want to make sure the moms are getting these awesome superfoods. So, yeah.
Thank you for your time this morning, Colette. I know you have a busy morning. All right. All right, beautiful. So now I'd like to share about something else that I'm really very proud of. So for the past year now, I think we're going on a year, Council, we have had these scholarships, these business and superfood scholarships for families in need. And I'm so deeply proud of our company, Purium, and the council for all the work that you've been doing, that we've been doing together in support of these families. And one of the things that, you know, Purium for me is a company that just keeps upping its cool factor. And, you know, about a month ago, we added 4 new scholarships so we now have 8 scholarships, but these 4 new scholarships are for Black families. So I wanted to highlight this today because, believe it or not, we actually don't have enough applications for Black families to be honoring 4 scholarships in this month right now. I was jaw-dropped when I heard that from our operations manager, Rachel Quayle. I've been doing outreach. The entire field has been doing outreach. We are deeply committed to diversifying our community here. Black Lives Matter to Purium, and they absolutely matter to the Million Mom Movement Council. And so I wanted to highlight that for you all today and to encourage you to please go to millionmommovement.info/scholarships and to share that with any Black families that you know of that might be interested in a very business forward, you know, start your own business from home scholarship and receive 6 months of superfoods while you're starting that business, as well as mentorship from us, the council. We do business meetings every month, support meetings and mentoring. And then they will absolutely have an upline as well, where they will, in a team where all of our recipients receive support. So I'm deeply proud of these scholarships, and I just wanted to highlight for that for all of us for today. All right, I'd like to segue now to really when Jodi and I were talking, we were like, we need a hot topic, and we're always willing to receive hot topics from you. If you have something that you think we need to know about, please reach out to us on Facebook, send us a message. on Messenger. We respond and we want to hear from you. This is a very dynamic community. I also want to invite you to join the Million Mom Movement official group on Facebook if you're not a member of that. That's a very dynamic group as well. And so as Jodi and I were talking, we decided that that nutrition and the immune system is so important to everyone right now. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on my friend, my colleague, and fierce mom on a mission and activist, Jodi Parker. Welcome.
Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you. In my happy place here.
I'm so excited. Look, we've got 3 pages of Zoom people today. Yay. So thank you. A lot of you, I can actually see you, which makes me happy because this whole distance thing, I think, is really hard for all of us. So I'm so excited I can see faces. So if you feel comfortable getting on video, it just makes all of us on the council happy because we like to see your faces. But thank you for joining us today. So we were talking, and it is not a secret, and there's been a lot of controversy in this last week. And part of the Million Mom movement, you know, we're activists. Like, we are trying to change. Well, no, let me rephrase. We are changing the world. And so all of the crazy that's happening in the world, we're paying really close attention. And everybody knows that there was a huge thing this week where some doctors went to the Supreme Court and they got up in front of everybody and talked about their findings with coronavirus and what they're doing to treat it. And it's become a huge controversy around hydroxychloroquine and how we treat this virus. And it went viral. There were only over 20 million views, and then it was censored all over, and you get the idea. So everybody knows the story. But we started talking about, well, what is this controversy around hydroxychloroquine? Why do some people think it works, and why do some people don't? And how do we, as activists, help people feel empowered through all of this? And I said to her, well, it's about nutrition, right? It's about how the body works. How do we boost our immune system? How do we optimize, boost maybe not the right word, optimize immune system function? And it's really easy when you have superfoods at your disposal. And so I said, all right, I'm in. Let's talk about this today. So I wrote up a blog post. You'll be able to find it on the millionmommovement.info website, all about how do we optimize immune function during this time, because we need to feel empowered. The fear is what is dividing the nation. It is what's dividing families. It is also destroying our immune systems. So, like, let's let go of the fear. Let's find some ways to empower ourselves. So in talking about that, lifestyle matters. It's not just about food. It's about your lifestyle. I don't think it's a secret to anybody listening to me right now that stress is one of the number one things that is going to hurt your immune system. And we are living in an extremely stressful time right now. And so let's take a step back and take some common sense steps around managing our stress. Are you exercising? Are you going outside and breathing clean air and getting in the sunshine and walking barefoot and really grounding yourself? Are you taking a moment to take a breath? Like, can everybody just right now, as you're sitting here, can you just consciously breathe with me? Like, really consciously, like down deep, like into your hips and your tailbone. None of this up here with my shoulders all tight breathing, but that yoga breathing where you stick your stomach out, and we're all women, and well, most of us are women. Sorry, Eric Misha, I know you're on here somewhere. We don't like to stick our stomachs out, but when your diaphragm goes down, when you take a big breath, your stomach sticks out, guys. It's natural. It should stick out when you take a deep breath. So really, like, let's get comfortable in our bodies and take that deep breath and let go of that stress as much as we can. The other thing that we have control over is the information that we allow to come into our mental space. Like there's a lot of drama and a lot of division. And all of us today here on this call, like this is our safe container. This is going to be a place where you can come to feel empowered. And you chose today to surround yourself with a group of women who want to feel empowered. That's going to lower your stress. So now that we know that, are we still deep breathing? Don't forget to breathe. I'm going to keep reminding you throughout this whole thing. And I talk really fast, so I should take my own advice. I've got the blog post sitting up in front of me, so I'm going to move on. All right, next step in optimizing immune function. Limit your exposure to toxins. Okay, so your liver, which is on the right side, like right under your ribs, that's why I'm pointing here, and your kidneys and your skin are your main detox organs in your body. And then from there, the liver, dumps into your digestive system and you get rid of stuff. And the kidneys, you know how that gets rid of stuff. If you're getting rashes, then you're dumping stuff out of your skin. And the more that your liver and kidneys and your skin have to deal with, the harder it is for it to boost your immune system and to keep your body regulated correctly. And so by limiting toxin exposure, you are just giving your body a better chance at being able to deal with whatever foreign entities enter you. Entities, that's maybe the wrong word. Foreign toxins, viruses, bacteria, you get the idea. Don't put your system under stress. Control what you can. There's lots we can't control. We can't control pollution. We can't, those types of things. But we can control things like choosing organic food, drinking filtered water or spring water that hasn't been contaminated, breathing clean air. If you need to get an air purifier, think about that. We can control those things. And incidentally, right now we're watching everything be sanitized. And a lot of the things that they're using to sanitize are toxic to our lungs and toxic to our body. So be aware of your cleaning products. What are you using? I went into a Target once in the last couple months. I couldn't breathe because whatever they're using to clean, they're just like, you know what? I don't want to be around that. 75 hand sanitizers have been recalled by the FDA for toxic ingredients. There are safe versions out there. If you need them, talk to the council. We've got a million ideas. And here's something that most people don't know. Indoor air quality, one of the biggest things that affects it is fabric softener and dryer sheets. Super toxic, mess with your hormones, really bad for you. So that's one thing that it's really easy to do. Change your laundry detergent. Don't use dryer sheets, use wool dryer balls. You can put essential oils, or there are companies out there that put smells on the dryer balls so you can make your laundry smell good, which made my husband happy. Keep trying to tell him clean doesn't have a smell, but in his head, clean has a smell. So the clothes have to smell good. So get some dryer balls, put something good that smells on it that's not toxic. Moving on. All right, I'm going to get to nutrition, I promise, but I'm trying to see the foundation here I'm setting for you. Everybody take a deep breath. So nutrition is key. But that's the last point I'm going to get to, because you have to make sure you're absorbing your nutrition. If you aren't absorbing what you're eating, it doesn't matter how good you are eating, your body can't utilize the nutrients that you're getting because it's not getting absorbed into your body. So what affects that? Your pH. So if you're very acidic, that's going to affect how well you're absorbing things. Your exposure to herbicides and pesticides is going to affect that. The health of your microbiome, are your good probiotics balanced in your gut, are going to affect that. And pancreatic enzymes are going to affect that if you're not making enzymes correctly, and your stomach acid. A lot of people have low stomach acid. In fact, diabetics have very low stomach acid, which is one of the reasons they think that COVID and other illnesses affect them so much, because when something comes into your body, a bacteria or a virus, once it gets down your esophagus and into your stomach acid will clear it. It will kill it. But if you don't have strong stomach acid, it won't. If you don't have strong stomach acid, you can't properly digest your proteins. And so those are all things that are really important to understand in absorption. So what can you do about it? You can actually take betaine HCl. Purium doesn't make that, but it's actually to help stomach acid. Purium has what we call enzyme advantage. It's food enzymes that help you break down your food. So if your pancreas isn't making things well, then you can take those food enzymes to help you break it down so that you better absorb your nutrition. We've got a probiotic. Our probiotic, advanced probiotic is what it's called, actually was specifically designed to support immune health. So it's 4 strains. There are lots of probiotics out there. Our particular one was specifically made to support immune health, but you can also get probiotics by drinking kefir, by eating fermented foods. Like that's really important, what you're including in your diet. And then of course, most of you know about Biomedic. If you don't know about Biomedic, you should, and I'll give you just a brief explanation. Biomedic is a product that will detox those pesticides and herbicides out of your body, particularly glyphosate, which is on 80% of the food supply. And glyphosate destroys the gut microbiome, and it kills off the villi in our intestines. And the villi are the like finger-like projections that come out from the intestinal lining that create more surface area for you to absorb your food. So when the villi are hurt, it's harder for you to absorb your food. And taking Biomedic will help create an environment in your body where your body can heal the villi, and then you're going to better be able to absorb your food. So that's why when you get into Purium, you hear us talking about Biomedic a lot. It's really an amazing product. There's nothing like it on the market. And I have seen, I mean, I'm sure you all have testimonials about what Biomedic has done in your life. It's an amazing product, but I'm going to keep going. Now we're going to finally move to the nutrition part of this. So one of the things we know for sure is vitamin D is absolutely essential to immune function. It has been hypothesized that one of the reasons that we have a cold and flu season is because that is when we go inside and we're not getting the sunshine to help our bodies make vitamin D. The best way to get vitamin D is to go outside in the sun. There's a book out there by Stephanie Seneff, who is a huge activist around glyphosate. And she wrote a book about not only is it vitamin D that's important from the sunshine, but it helps you make cholesterol sulfate, which is key to strengthening cell membranes. And the best way to get it is by going to the sunshine. So go outside, please go outside. However, there are going to be times you can't get outside, or in the winter, depending on your climate, and you're going to need to take vitamin D. And you can find supplements out there. You got to make sure it's D3. If you want to get it from food, with Purium, MVP Kids, and MVP Sport are going to be your best sources of that. Epigenius Kids also has some vitamin D in it, but not as much as the other two. And that's coming from mushrooms. So it's a really safe place for you to be getting it. It's all natural. It's not synthetic. Nothing Purium does is synthetic. Here's the challenge with synthetics. Synthetics have different chemical structures than food. Okay. And so our body has enzymes in it, and enzymes are like a key that you put in a lock. They speed up chemical reactions. So they're a certain shape. So they are designed to work with food because the food molecules are a certain shape, and synthetics are a different shape. The best example is folate versus folic acid. We can't process synthetics as well as we can food. So that's why it's so important that you get things from in a natural way, because that's how our body works with it. Something else that vitamin D does is it keeps the white blood cells in your body. It creates longevity for them and keeps them from being flushed out of your body too quickly. So that's one of the ways it boosts your immunity. Vitamin D, there's been some studies recently showing that low vitamin D levels correlates with more severity from illness from COVID-19. It's a correlation, not a causation at this point, but it's certainly not going to hurt you, right? Make sure your vitamin D is good. Moving on, how else does nutrition support you? Zinc. Zinc is like the superhero mineral when it comes to immune function. It is involved in all kinds of chemical reactions in your body. And people aren't getting it in their diet as much as they should. You find it in pumpkin seeds, in hemp seeds. Lots of nuts have lower things of it, garbanzo beans. Most meat, if you're not vegan or vegetarian, most meat is going to have zinc in it as well. But here's where the whole hydroxychloroquine argument comes in, and why people are talking about this. So when zinc gets inside of the cell, so imagine you've got a cell with a cell wall around it, and the zinc needs to be inside the cell. And when it's inside the cell and the virus gets inside of the cell, RNA viruses, a virus isn't like, it's a parasite. It can't live on its own. It can't reproduce on its own. So what it does is it gets in your cell and it makes your DNA produce itself. They call them RNA viruses, and it's how your body makes proteins and creates new cells, etc. But I'm not going to get deep into the science. The point is the zinc disrupts that process of the RNA being able to replicate itself. And so having the zinc inside the cell is absolutely crucial to stopping viral replication. And that's why you're hearing so much about zinc. And there was something else. Let me look at my notes because I don't want to forget. Oh, yes. Something else that's super important is the zinc needs to get into the cell, and we'll come to that later. But it also has to be in a more alkaline environment. It does not like acidity. Zinc, so acids, the way they work in your body, zinc is an ion, so it has a positive charge, and the acids mess that up. And so it makes it harder for it to do its job. So alkalinity is super important when it comes to zinc, which is going to bring me to my next point. Well, first, best Purion product for zinc, more greens, hands down. There's some zinc in the super meal. There's a little bit of zinc in the power shake, but if you're looking for a Purion product that has the most zinc, more greens is going to be your best bet. And more greens is actually a product that was designed specifically to support immune health in your gut, in your body. It's an amazing product. I don't think we hear about it enough. I have it every day. It's in my smoothie right now. So that's for my Purion people, that's your product for zinc. So moving on, greens, because I just mentioned the zinc doesn't like acidity. What do greens do? They alkalize you. They help your body find a neutral, closer to a neutral pH. Okay, so your body should be somewhere between 6.8 and 7.2 acidity. So water is 7. All right, that's your neutral. And everything you eat, except for fruits and vegetables, make you acidic. Literally, everything you eat except fruits and vegetables make you acidic. And most people out there are not eating enough fruits and vegetables, so they're very acidic. The more acidic you are, the easier it is for bacteria and viruses and funguses to take over in your body, because they thrive in acidic environments, and the things that keep you healthy do not thrive in acidic environments. So greens are absolutely key. I, every single morning for the last almost 15 months now, do a double shot of barley green juice on an empty stomach first thing in the morning every single day. I haven't been sick the entire time. It's amazing. There's all sorts of vitamins and stuff in there too, but pH when it comes to immunity is huge. The other thing that greens do that is really unique to them is the higher they are in chlorophyll, the better they are at oxygenating your body. And so we know with COVID or any respiratory illness that oxygenation is a huge issue. Even with wearing masks, oxygenation can become a huge issue for certain people. And chlorophyll is a very similar molecule to hemoglobin, except instead of iron, it has magnesium on it. And so it helps your body oxygenate because it helps you build blood. In fact, in World War II, when they didn't have enough blood supplies, they would give chlorophyll infusions when they didn't have enough blood. Like it's amazing. Your best source of chlorophyll is going to be chlorella. That's where it gets its name. Spirulina is going to be your next level down. And then you've got your camoots and your barley grasses and things like that. All those greens are still going to be high in chlorophyll, but chlorella by far and away is going to be your highest. So moving from there, We talked about zinc. It has to be inside the cell, okay? And it has to have a more neutral environment. And how do we get it into the cell? This is where the hydroxychloroquine comes into play. Hydroxychloroquine is a zinc ionophore. What does that mean? It can grab onto it and it can help it get into the cell, get past the cell membrane. Well, there are natural compounds that do that, most specifically quercetin. Quercetin is just a bioflavonoid. It's in onions and apples and tart cherries and citrus. You can also see it in quinine. Some of you may have heard people talking about seltzer water. That's why they're talking about that. They're talking about things that are a zinc ionophore. What helps get the zinc into the cell? And that is why they think it works. So you don't have to worry about taking a prescription. Just eat real food. Get your citrus, get your apothecary juice, and eat your apples and your onions and all of those things. Get your quercetin. And that is going to naturally help your body get the zinc where it needs to go in your body. And then vitamin C. Let's talk vitamin C, you guys. Vitamin C is water soluble. And I don't think most people realize that what that means is it will become to a certain concentration in your blood. And once it reaches that homeostasis, the kidneys are going to start filtering it out because you don't want too much of anything. So I like to explain it like this. We've all done that experiment where we do the volcano with the baking soda and the vinegar, right? And it has to be in a certain ratio. And if you don't have it in the perfect ratio, you do the chemical reaction and then you've got all of this baking soda left over because it wasn't in the right ratio. Well, in your body, when things aren't in the right ratio like that, it's your kidneys and your liver that are going to filter it out. So that's another reason why it's so important to get your nutrition from food rather than supplements, because food is in the ratio that your body needs it. So it makes it easier. You don't have to put as much pressure on your liver and kidneys to filter and to balance those chemical reactions because you're getting it the way that you need it. That's why this is so amazing, right? So vitamin C, you have to take it throughout the day. And most people, I've seen studies, and again, you can go all over the place and you can find science to support whatever you want, but we know vitamin C is good for you. And it has been said that most people are deficient in vitamin C. Vitamin C is absolutely crucial to white blood cell production and function. Absolutely crucial. And what do white blood cells do? They're the part that eat the bacteria and the viruses and kill them off in order to get them out of your body. When you have a really runny nose, that's dead white blood cells that your body's trying to get rid of. All right. So it's absolutely crucial that your white blood cells are working at top efficiency, which is why you need vitamin C and why it's good to take it throughout the day because of the fact that it's water soluble. So vitamin D is not, it's fat soluble, which is why you can overdo it. So don't overdo it. But vitamin C is water soluble. So take it throughout the day, a little bit throughout the day, eat your oranges and your berries and your kiwi. Take your C from nature, which is the Purium version. And here's something that's super important to understand. Vitamin C is a complex. Ascorbic acid is an isolate. Ascorbic acid is not vitamin C. You have to take a lot more ascorbic acid or sodium ascorbate to get the same effects that you will get from a whole complex of vitamin C because the bioflavonoids and all the other stuff that is part of the whole complex helps your body absorb it. So you have to take a lot less C from nature than you do if you were taking an isolate. The other thing it's important to know, if you are taking an isolate, almost all the supplements out there are made from GMO corn. So now you're getting genetically modified ascorbic acid and glyphosate residue. You don't want that. So it's definitely better to stick with the berries, the amla and the rose hips and things like that to get your vitamin C. And to keep that white blood cells up. The other thing that's absolutely key when it comes to nutrition and vitamin C is sugar competes with vitamin C on white blood cell receptors. So if you have high blood sugar, if you've just eaten a lollipop and there's a lot of sugar in your blood, the sugar is going to outcompete the vitamin C on those receptors, and it will lower your immune function by 75%. That's a really big deal. It is not a coincidence that people have a cold and flu season when they start going inside and not getting vitamin D, and between Halloween and New Year's, when they're eating a ton of sugar. That's not coincidental. Now, how do I deal with my kids and my family? We don't do synthetic stuff. I'm not going to do the dyes and the artificials. Those are the toxins I told you to avoid earlier in this talk. But I'm not going to be a mean mom. No, you can't have anything. So if I find an organic lollipop that's, like dyed with beet juice or pomegranate or whatever, they're drinking some daily fiber blend. Because when you get fiber in the stomach, it's going to slow the absorption of the sugar into the bloodstream and help keep that blood sugar more stable instead of spiking. So that's a little like life hack with your kids, to make sure they're eating a high fiber and even fat as well is going to slow down that absorption into the blood. And so you don't have to feel so guilty about letting your kids have a treat. But I'll throw one other thing out here. A treat does not make you sick. Okay, so when my kids go, well, somebody else got it, well, and now they're going to get sick. Like, that's not loving. You can find ways to create treats. Like dark chocolate tastes great. And a lot of kids are like, oh, it's too bitter. My kids eat dark chocolate just fine because that's what they're used to. And the other thing that will make things more bitter is pH. If your pH is acidic, greens and dark chocolate and things like that are going to taste worse. That's why they say swish the green drink in your mouth before you swallow it, because it changes the pH in your mouth, and that change in pH changes the way it tastes. So the closer you are to a balanced pH in your body, the better things that are good for you are going to taste. So another life hack for your kids. And if you're trying to get greens into them and you can't, barley green juice is something that's really, really simple to sneak into everything because it's a really mild taste. It's very easy to hide. Cocoa mint spirulina is another really good way to get things into your children. My kids love the lemon green spectrum. It tastes kind of like lemon herbal tea. But you can find those life hacks as you kind of get them closer to being able to eat healthy. pH has a ton to do with it. And then I have one more nutrient I want to talk about. We could go on and on and on and on, but I'm going to end with vitamin A. Vitamin A is absolutely necessary for cell membrane integrity. So people who have really severe cases of measles, and the reason why measles is so deadly in third world countries is because those children are extremely low in vitamin A. And vitamin A deficiency has a huge impact on your cell membrane health. And remember, viruses have to get inside the cell to replicate themselves. If your cell membrane is strong, the viruses can't get in, the white blood cells can get rid of them from the intracellular fluid, and then you don't get as sick. So one of the ways they treat severe viral issues is with vitamin A. You don't want to take vitamin A supplements necessarily because, again, it's a fat-soluble vitamin like vitamin D is. A, D, E, and K are your fat-soluble vitamins. Oh, and that reminds me, K is really important to the absorption of D. And where do you find vitamin K? In your greens. So see how this is all working together? This is why green is so good for you. But vitamin A, if you get it from food, then your body can process it, your liver can store it in a way that is safe for you, that's not toxic for you. So sometimes somebody asked me the other day, oh my gosh, Power Shake has so much vitamin A in it, aren't we going to poison everybody? Well, how many of you drink Power Shake? Are any of you have vitamin A poisoning? No, because it's not in a synthetic form. It's in a way that your body can process it, and if it needs to get rid of it, it can, because that's how you're supposed to get your nutrition. So your best sources, oh, and vitamin A is also absolutely key to T cells. I don't know if you've seen the news in the last, I guess it's been the last 10 days or so. Antibodies mean that your body is fighting off an infection in that moment, okay? But they don't necessarily mean immunity. And they're starting to see that it's actually the T cells in the body that really show a high level of immunity. And they've done some studies have come out in the last 10 days showing that 40 to 60%, maybe as high as 80% of people have T cells that help fight off COVID-19. Well, how do they do that? It's a novel virus, right? Well, sort of. It's a coronavirus. Coronaviruses are where common colds come from. So there's a whole family of them. SARS was a coronavirus, MERS was a coronavirus, the common cold is a coronavirus. And so they're going to be similar, and the similarities in their proteins, if you've had a cold in the last, they're saying 5 years, don't quote me on this, like this is all new science, right? So they're coming out with that, but they're starting to show that our body will have those T cells to fight those off. And that's why you're seeing, quote, asymptomatic people who have been exposed to the virus but don't have any symptoms. It's because they have those high levels of T cells that are able to fight it off. And vitamin A is crucial in the production of those T cells. So that's just another reason why vitamin A is so good for you. All of this is written up in a blog post that will be going up on the millionmommovement.info. And something random, I'm going to throw 2 final random things out here, and then I promise I'm going to stop talking because I've just dumped my brain on all of you. Number 1, acidity. We talked about acidity and greens and zinc absorption and all of that stuff. Chewing gum makes you more acidic, because your body thinks that it needs to digest something. So it makes your stomach acids start going. Then you never swallow anything, so the stomach acid doesn't get used. So just random little facts. If you chew gum a lot, it's gonna make you more acidic. And finally, my daughter and I were out there yesterday, and we're talking about stress, and we're talking about what we need to do to create health and being happy and having joy. And last year at the Purium convention, Dave Sandoval goes, you need to skip. Go outside with your kids and skip. So literally my daughter and I yesterday skipped around our entire neighborhood. You guys, it works. And skipping also is really good for your immune system, because your lymph system, which is what controls all the white blood cells, your heart pushes the blood through your body, right? That's not true of your lymphatic system. It has to be pushed through your body. That's why exercise is so important. But bouncing on a trampoline, on a mini trampoline, on a vibration plate, or skipping helps your lymph circulate and drain so that your body can get rid of those waste products. So that is where I'm going to end. Full circle back to stopping stress. Are you breathing still? Thanks, you guys. Stephanie, I'm going to toss it back to you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. I can speak for probably everyone here that we've all learned at least one thing today, if not substantially more. And there have been a lot of questions in the chat. So I'd like to give you all an opportunity to ask those questions with Jodi right now. And yeah, bring your voices forward. For the last 3 weeks, we've been doing interviews, and so we haven't heard your voice. We want to hear from you now. So just come on. Oh, actually, I need to unmute. So go ahead and, do you know how to raise your hand, everyone? If you go into the chat box.
All right, well, you're looking for that. I saw that Elena asked, why is a shot of barley grass juice good on an empty stomach first thing in the morning? Because it's going to help balance your pH, because it is going to offer you really deep nutrition. Barley grass is really good, especially for B vitamins, and B vitamins are great for stress, actually. Your body uses up B vitamins a lot when it's stressed, and it needs it for a lot of functions. We've all heard about how important folate is and B12 and all of those things. Barley grass juice is a really good source of micronutrients and your B vitamins. So, and taking it on an empty stomach. So if you eat it with food that are more acidic, like I have a kid that puts it in his buckwheat hot cereal every day. I kid you not. But the pH isn't going to, combining it with food is going to alter the pH just like any chemical reaction. So by taking it on an empty stomach, that gives you a better chance of balancing your pH. Make sense? I can see you, Elena. Give me a thumbs up if that made sense. I think that's a picture, actually. Never mind. Okay.
So I am not the host right now, and I'm not seeing how to raise a hand. So I guess just wave at us and we can let you, we can unmute you. You're not able to unmute yourself right now because we've just had some problems with that. So maybe, and also maybe Jodi, you could also scroll up and look for some of there's a lot of questions.
So if you come on video, I can see you, and most people who are on video, yeah, if you're not on video, you're not on my front page. So come get yourself on video and wave at me. If you have a question that needs answering, or if you have a story, like if you have a biomedic like testimonial, because we talked about how important that absorption is. I'm happy to do that, but I'll keep looking through the questions here and see.
If you click on more, that's where you'll find the raise your hand.
Oh yeah, look at that. So under participants, click on participants, and at the bottom you'll see invite and mute and all that more, and raise your hand. I'm looking, I'm scrolling.
Thank you.
Where would selenium come into play with immunity? Selenium is another one of those micronutrients that is especially good for your thyroid. Super, super important for thyroid health, and thyroid health has to do with metabolism, and metabolism has to do with how efficiently your body is working. So starting to make sense. I haven't seen a lot of selenium in our products. I tell people eat Brazil nuts, like have 3 to 5 Brazil nuts. And again, people go, oh, but they're bitter. They're bitter because your pH is imbalanced. They taste good if your pH is balanced. So your best food source for selenium is going to be Brazil nuts. Elena has her hand up. Elena, can you unmute yourself?
Hello. I'm having an issue with if I consume too much green barley juice, it has the effect of loose stools. So when for new people who are just starting to do this, I'm finding that less is more until your body gets used to it. Same thing with the Biomedic. I got the Biomedic, tried it, and so what I'm trying to do is find my happy medium of when I can take it so that I don't have that situation. And thank you for the info about the skipping. I'm learning about reflexology and lymphatic drainage. And so I was trying to explain that to somebody, and now I can tell her she can skip and it'll help. So thank you.
That's hysterical. Yeah, that's really important. Thank you for bringing that up. So when you start adjusting your pH, it's going to help your body detox. And you do not want to detox faster than your body can process it. And depending on your individual genetics, is going to depend on how well you can detox. Like in our family, we don't detox well at all. Slow and steady wins the race. Other people can, massively take huge amounts of detox kinds of stuff like Biomedic and greens, and they do just fine. So it's always important. Listen to your body. Listen to your body. So Biomedic, if you've got diarrhea, you're taking too much, take one capsule out. If that's still too much, go to every other day. Same with the greens. If you're super, super acidic, like for some people, they take a shot of that and it makes them want to throw up because they're so acidic. So start slowly, start a little bit at a time and build up to it. This is not a race. And if you detox faster than you can process it, you're going to get really sick and it's miserable. And it actually puts you back a step and it takes you longer to get where you want to go, which seems counterintuitive because I'm impatient. I want to get there as fast as I can, but I'm the girl who can't detox well. So slow and steady wins the race for people like me, but listen to your body. So diarrhea, rashes, sleep issues, and moodiness, like especially anger, those are all signs that you're detoxing faster than you can process it.
Excellent. So we're getting a lot more questions about where will these Zooms be recorded. These Zooms are always recorded in the Million Mom Movement module in iLearn, and they are also always transferred into our Million Mom Movement official group on Facebook. So you definitely want to be in that group to be in the know about what's coming up. Each Friday we share in there about what's coming, so you can anticipate and invite folks too. And we have a few more minutes here. These questions are great. Oh, Ashley Lewis, you have your hand up.
I apologize. That was actually by accident, but I would love to just piggyback off of this. So my father was actually diagnosed with COVID earlier this year. So everything that Jodi gave us is what I had come across in my own studies. So he's like still on the upswing of things. He was diagnosed back in March, and he's on the ULT right now. So to know that I have even more resources to provide him with is just invaluable. So thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love hearing that. Yes, I just spoke with someone yesterday who's been on our products for 5 years. She caught COVID, and all that happened to her was she lost her sense of taste. That's the only thing that happened to her. So, all right. Can I share the link for the MMM Facebook, please? Yes, I'll make sure that that gets in there. Any other questions for Jodi? Hasn't this been so supremely valuable? Ladies and gents, love it.
Ayla, thank you, Ayla, for dropping in. She just said there's selenium in apple berry power shake. I didn't realize that. Excellent. Thank you for pointing that out. Yay. See, one more reason why the power shake is powerful.
May I ask a quick question?
Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. I just heard you just, she mentioned an author that I wanted to get the book and read it about the vitamin D and the glyphosate. Can I get that again?
Definitely.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Stephanie Seneff. Seneff.
Seneff. Okay, Senniff.
Seneff. She's an MIT researcher, and this book was actually about vitamin D and cholesterol sulfate. This was before she got into glyphosate. I can't even remember the name. I'd have to go look it up, but you can go look up books by Stephanie Seneff. You'll see it. But she's one of the foremost, like, leading experts on glyphosate and its effects in the body. But before she got into that, she was talking vitamin D and cholesterol sulfate and why it's so important to get into the sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
And then Rowena, you have your hand up.
I just asked that question about the doctor the author of that book. So I'm all set. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll lower your hand. Thanks. Beautiful. Great questions. Anyone else have a question for Jodi?
Said somebody has a question about taking ionic elements for zinc. Ionic elements, I take it every day. In fact, it's in the blog post I wrote and I forgot to mention it. Yeah, trace minerals, always important. It's not going to be a high level of zinc, but it does have zinc in it, but it's not a lot. Your best bet is still going to be more greens, but something that ionic elements have in it that is absolutely key to absorption is the fulvic acid. So fulvic acid is not a nutrient in and of itself, but what it does is it helps the body absorb its nutrition. It kind of acts like a bridge. And so not only are you getting your minerals, but you're getting help absorbing said minerals. So ionic elements is an excellent thing to add to. It's in this too. This is my MVP Kids Biofruit Carrot Juice plus more greens, kamut blend, hemp seeds, walnuts, and cacao powder drink that I have for breakfast every day.
I take ionic elements every day as well. I put it in my smoothies and my shakes as well. And I want to do a plug for ionic elements, because what most people don't realize is that glyphosate, what it does is it chelates minerals out of the body. It effectively kills the immune system. And so when we're, functioning from a demineralized state, when we're eating foods that have been demineralized, we want to replenish those minerals, those trace elements and minerals. And ionic elements is perfect for that. So yeah, There's a reason why, you know, why people are having tremendous transformations on these protocols is because they work. They work. So many miracles I've witnessed. Any other questions? Okay. Someone's asking about a recipe. Kat, you're asking about a recipe?
What I do, she asked what I was putting in here. I'm writing it down. Everything but the kitchen sink, but I'm writing it for you. Hold on.
You have a question since there's time and space. I would love to ask our resident nutritional genius. So I'm sure you probably heard my story before, but I'm somebody that's literally lost hundreds of pounds in my life. And I feel like I've kind of wrecked my metabolism in that process. And yeah, I just did another 10-day and I, of course, live on the kitchen sink of superfoods. So I'm just wanting to know, I feel like this question gets asked a bunch of times, but for somebody like myself who has gone up and down significantly in weight my whole life, do you have any nutritional tips of something that I might not have already been trying that could help me?
My husband has the same issue. So what we have figured out for him is it's a toxicity issue. His body holds on to fat because when you've been exposed to toxins, your body dilutes them by storing them in fat. And you have to be able to get rid of the toxins. And if you're not losing weight, one of the reasons if it's not hormonal or metabolism related, it could be toxicity related. And so he's been doing all kinds of stuff to slowly detox himself. We've got a sauna and things like that. We've got a vibration plate he uses because we have that issue with not being able to detox genetically. And so in his case, that is what's holding on. And one of the things that we do in our house to keep from eating things we know are bad for us that are going to add to weight is looking at it and literally going, well, that's poison to me. And when you think of it that way, well, that's poison to my body. It makes you really not want to eat it. Like I was really allergic to dairy and it's really easy for me to not want to eat it because it made me so sick. And if I look at it, that's poison to me. So even when you change the way you look at things, it can help support you in that. But it could also be thyroid and toxicity is a big issue. Halogens and low iodine and mercury really messes with the thyroid. Candida really messes with the thyroid. Candida is another reason that people have trouble losing weight. So you have to work on getting rid of the candida. And candida is really hard to get rid of if you have mercury poisoning because candida eats mercury. So if you have a mercury issue and you're trying to get rid of candida, you can't get rid of the candida until you get rid of the mercury. So yeah, it gets really freaking complicated.
I have a question.
Yes, Anna.
So I'm curious. I'm pretty new to Purium. I'm almost done with my 30-day transformation, but I'm curious, what is it like to just add Purium to your diet without drastically changing other things? Because it doesn't seem to be helpful to keep eating certain things while I'm taking the Purium. But like I wasn't gonna just throw everything out in my fridge, you know. But I realized this is probably something that I want to talk to or people are gonna ask me about because a lot of people don't have the means to really change their whole diet and change their whole kitchen and especially older people that I know that I'm trying to encourage,
Yeah, sorry, Anna, I have to cut you off because we're at 1 hour and I really want to stay within an hour. So I really appreciate your conversation.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
Here's what I say to people. I say the invitation is to release meat, dairy, gluten, sugar, caffeine, and chocolate. One or more or all of those things in a 30-day experience. And whatever they agree to, they will be successful. We can't tell them what to do. I'm not here to tell anyone how to eat, okay? I'm here to invite and make recommendations. Thank you everyone so much for being here. so grateful to have you here. Please come back next Friday. Invite 2 people. We had 79 people on here today. That's the most we've ever had. So grateful to you. We are the Million Mom Movement. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Aloha.
Thanks, everyone. Great